Major funding for NJTV News is provided in part by RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together. NJM Insurance Group, serving the insurance needs of New Jersey residents and businesses for more than 100 years. And Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Tonight on NJTV News, destructive storms.
Parts of Little Falls devastated after a weekend flood, and some residents are asking, where's the help?
At the office of the largest state worker union in Trenton, they're pushing back against the Sweeney Task Force report that calls for more cuts to public pensions.
Plus, amid a summer of NJ Transit delays, the focus shifts from the tracks to the engineers. Those stories and more next on NJTV News.
Live from the Agnes Varus NJTV studio at 2 Gateway Center in Newark, this is NJTV News with Mary Alice Williams.
Hello, thank you for joining us. The state got hammered by another 5 to nearly 8 inches of rain in just a few hours, on top of the weekend's deluge that flooded businesses and basements and turned parked cars into a careening flotilla. Now New Jersey residents are cleaning out and calling in the cavalry. Andrew Schmertz reports.
Someone please come and help them. This is like their whole neighborhood is destroyed. Beautiful homes are being condemned. People don't even have a place to go. I mean, somebody has to come out and help these people.
After a weekend of torrential rain and flash floods, the cleanup was just beginning when it began to rain again.
It's terrible. It's very depressing.
In Little Falls, multiple homes were condemned because floodwaters had washed out foundations. A car was virtually in the basement of this house. The sidewalks littered with dressers, household supplies, books, and lots of garbage bags. Cars were pushed onto front lawns and filled with mud. The lucky ones on this block escaped with just a mess on their hands. And some residents here say there has been no immediate help from local or state agencies.
I'm just cleaning out the basement. The water was up to about here. And just trying to get rid of everything.
We have 2 feet on the first floor plus the basement.
The residents of this block in Little Falls say they have not seen flooding this bad since Hurricane Floyd. In fact, the owner of this house says the water level reached the bottom of his windows in about 2 minutes. He had to be rescued by boat. Rob Mendoza's home is now uninhabitable.
I was sleeping and then I heard some hissing noise and I started looking around the house and basically see where it was coming. I went down to downstairs, then I went to the basement. Saw a little bit of some water coming in, and then all of a sudden I looked at the windows in the basement and they were all mud water, so I rushed out of there. By the time I came up here, I saw my truck floating out here. The water was about 6 feet high.
On Saturday, nearly 5 inches of rain fell in Essex, Passaic, and Bergen counties.
Overwhelming, a lot going on, a lot of flooded homes. So we're just trying our best to, make everybody happy.
At an auto dealership near where the ruined homes are, cars were swept into the Packman River. In Bogota, a bride on her wedding day had to be rescued from the top of a car. And in Brick Township, floodwaters made the roads impassable.
This is a result of a very moisture-rich atmosphere, a pattern that's been with us for the past month. And on occasion, you get some very strong storms pop up that don't move too fast. They sit over an area for a while.
The governor's office says he will tour Little Falls tonight, and the mayors of Little Falls and Woodland Park plan to brief the media later. As for what to do next, one resident of Montville had this idea.
We're going to Florida today.
And climatologists say the good news from all this rain, there's no longer concern about a summer drought. In Little Falls, Andrew Schmertz, NJTV News.
The path to progress could be rocky. A Senate President's task force on ways to make the state more affordable calls for sweeping changes at all levels of government that could affect how much we pay for tolls and schools, and potentially most controversial, how far the state will go in upending public workers' benefits. Chief Political Correspondent Michael Aaron reports.
A major recommendation of the Sweeney Task Force is to cut back again on public pensions. At the headquarters of the CWA in Trenton, that's not going over so well.
I think that it's interesting that they've made a series of recommendations that everybody knows isn't going to happen. Like, they're not going to put toll roads all over the state of New Jersey. There's not going to be a merger of 300 school districts. What we really have is Steve Sweeney once again coming to the exact same well he always comes to, which is, let's look at the civilian public workers and see how we can turn barely middle-class jobs into not middle-class jobs.
The task force recommended that teachers and state workers with less than 5 years service and all new workers be switched from a defined benefit to a defined contribution plan. That means a 401k type plan or possibly a hybrid of the two. Two Rutgers faculty members who sit on the 25-member task force endorsed that recommendation.
There's no way without some kind of modification to the pension system is the state going to be in a position to fund future liabilities. It's that simple. The numbers are clear.
In 2011, then Governor Chris Christie signed historic legislation requiring public workers to pay 7.5% of salary into the pension system. It also raised the retirement age to 65. Sweeney was instrumental in passing that bill. In 2016, Christie went for a second round of pension reform. He appointed a task force headed by Republican Tom Healy and Democrat Tom Byrne, but nothing concrete came out of it. Now Sweeney is back again, saying the changes made to date haven't been enough.
In the Christie years, we were very reliant on economic growth that was going to help raise the budget, enable us to make more contributions to the pension system to hopefully fix the problem. That didn't work.
The TPAF, the Teachers Pension Fund, and the state pension funds are due to run out of money in the years 2029 and 2032 if we continue funding the way we are.
The CWA leader says the current $60 billion liability of the pension funds is enough to pay current retirees and doesn't change if you keep new hires out. The state has paid in only half what it promised in 2011, she adds, and new hires would keep the money flowing in if allowed to stay in the system.
There's nothing new here. There's nothing innovative here. This is not going to save New Jersey. It's not going to fix New Jersey. It's just going to destroy the pensions for thousands of people.
She's also unhappy with the recommendation that employee health care benefits be scaled back from platinum quality to gold. Sweeney plans to take the task force report on the road. For NJTV News, I'm Michael Aaron.
Filling a technological void, that tops tonight's business news. Rhonda Schaffler is away. Here with details on all the state's business is Joanna Gagas. Joanna?
Mary Alice, New Jersey has just named its first Chief Innovation Officer, New Jersey native Beth Simone Novak. Among the responsibilities of the CIO, use new technology to stimulate the state's innovation and tech sectors, specifically tech startups. Novak was previously the first U.S. Deputy Chief Technology Officer appointed by President Obama and the Senior Advisor for Open Government appointed by British Prime Minister David Cameron. New Jersey's Department of Environmental Protection and the Delaware Riverkeeper Network have filed a lawsuit against the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. They claim FERC violated the Natural Gas Act and the National Environmental Policy Act in granting approval for the Penn East pipeline. They claim the project failed to demonstrate a legitimate need and ignored the climate-changing impacts of the project. The lawsuit comes after FERC denied a rehearing request to apply for the pipeline, and if approved, the Penn East pipeline would cut through Mercer and Hunterdon counties. Workers on strike can still receive unemployment benefits, according to a law signed by Governor Murphy. Benefits would be available if the employer violated labor laws or an existing agreement with the workers to cause the strike. The benefits would be provided after a 30-day waiting period, and the workers on strike would also be entitled to back pay if their position was replaced with a permanent worker during the strike. New Jersey's real estate market is making a comeback. Home values rose 8.7% this past year, with the median home value at just over $318,000. It hasn't reached that number since January 2005, according to the real estate website Zillow, and that puts New Jersey over the national average of 8.3%. Limited inventory plus rising home costs make New Jersey a great place to sell your home, but not a great market for buyers. On Wall Street, stocks closed down today. And those are your top business stories.
Support for the Business Report is provided by SJ Magazine, the heart and soul of South Jersey. Online at sjmagazine.net.
The New Jersey Attorney General says there's no direct conflict of interest in the Atlantic County prosecutor's investigation of alleged sexual assaults at a rogue fraternity at Stockton University. 4 students have named in a suit the university, the unrecognized fraternity Pi Kappa Phi, and 3 current and former students. Because a prosecutor's wife works at Stockton and the head of the prosecutor's special victims unit is the daughter of Stockton's president, the prosecutor's office sent a letter to the state requesting a review. The Attorney General has determined there's no reason for the State Division of Criminal Justice to take over the investigations. A $100 million bribes for referrals ring and a $50 million pharmaceutical kickback scheme, both in New Jersey, have led law enforcement to adopt an innovative approach to detecting health insurance fraud and its byproduct, prescription drug abuse. Data mining. Brianna Venozzi reports.
Federal agents are deploying a new level of law enforcement called the Regional Medicare Fraud Strike Force, a multi-agency team using big data to unmask the growing number of healthcare crooks hiding in plain sight.
Strike Force has 2 purposes. First is to tackle increased waste, fraud, and abuse within our federal healthcare programs, which cause the cost of Medicare and Medicaid to skyrocket. And second, and perhaps more importantly, to address the epidemic of prescription drug overdoses and opioid-involved deaths.
They'll do it by teaming up prosecutors and data analysts within the criminal and healthcare fraud units, New Jersey's U.S. Attorney's Office, the FBI, DEA, and others, following billions of bits of data trails left in Medicare claims and transactions.
They do nothing else but look at this type of data, identify outliers, and learn how to build cases quickly and efficiently and cut the head off the snake, which in this system are the doctors who are pushing opioids out on the street and just generally bilking the public fisc.
If we're looking at a pharmacy and all the patients that go to these pharmacies are coming 300 and 400 miles away, it tells us that something's wrong. Everyone's got a pharmacy within a mile radius of their house. So the fact that all these people are going to one pharmacy from a long distance tells us that something's probably wrong. Is there a certain drug they're after? Are they being paid to go there?
The advanced analytics will allow the strike force to get out in front, investigate, prosecute, and ultimately stem fraudulent practices. The model's being used successfully in 10 other cities around the country.
Since its inception in March of 2007, this task force model has charged over 3,700 defendants nationwide who falsely billed the Medicare program for a total of over $14 billion.
It brings more physical resources. We're going to have more prosecutors that we can dedicate to this. It also formalizes the relationship between the fraud section down in Washington, D.C. and the District of New Jersey.
And time, as they say, is of the essence. According to federal reports cited today, New Jersey ranks among the top third of all states for opioid-related deaths.
The opioid and the prescription drug threat and the fraud that goes along with that is a multi-billion-dollar nationwide threat to everyone. So we want to combine those efforts, focus on that, and see if we can mitigate that to the best of our ability.
A new level of oversight in a new era of innovation. In Newark, Brianna Venozzi, NJTV News.
New rules are being proposed to get New Jersey transit trains back on track, starting with the engineers. Michael Hill reports.
Rob Rosenberg was not expecting this to be NJ Transit's summer of hell. Tweets notifying commuters of canceled trains due to work to install positive train control to prevent accidents.
Last summer, they did a better job of predicting the problems as they were occurring so people could make their plans. They knew what trains were going to be canceled before that hour. And now it seems like it's much more random.
Another issue, last-minute cancellations due to too few engineers to operate the trains. Engineers can take an unscheduled leave with a minimum 5-hour notice. A shortage of NJ Transit engineers leaves the commuter service with no one to substitute. In a statement, NJ Transit says, we anticipate a class graduating later this month will add 9 engineers to the roster. They can operate trains right after they graduate. In addition, we have increased the number of current classes to 4, running concurrently with staggered graduation rates to continue the qualification of new engineers. Next class starts in October and then another class in December, January. NJ Transit says it's short about 50 engineers. State senators say that's intolerable. Here's what one's proposing to do.
Now when you have an artificial limitation that says, at this juncture, you have to live in the state of New Jersey in order to apply, I think we should say, like most other transit systems do, they say, let's have an open opportunity for individuals to come service people in New Jersey, and then also move to New Jersey because it's a great state to live, work, and raise a family.
The Senate president has been quoted as saying he's unconvinced that residency rules have made the shortage of engineers worse. Some engineers have left to take higher-paying jobs at other transit agencies. The union representing engineers did not respond to requests for comment. This commuter encountered a train cancellation 2 weeks ago. What do you think the larger fix, the big picture fix is for NJ Transit based on what you know?
Probably adequate people, and also just making sure that the infrastructure, the actual equipment that they're having has the resources to maintain it.
Senator Kaine says for politicians, this is no time for finger pointing, and the time for blame has passed.
Right now, we need to be together. Bipartisan basis, commuters, government employees alike, citizens saying we've got to get this one right.
Michael Hill, NJTV News.
A rain-soaked rally tops tonight's Garden State Express. Our first stop, Bedminster, where dozens of bikers for Trump braved wet roads to ride gleaming Harleys and Hondas onto the grounds of Trump National for a presidential photo op outdoors. But the storm sent them scrambling indoors, where beneath shimmering chandeliers, the president signed autographs and posed for selfies and declared their rides the most beautiful bikes anyone's ever seen. That's a quote. Next to Atlantic City, where the big draw was the 6th annual Uptown for Life reunion, bringing together neighbors old and new with ties to the Uptown neighborhood, who lined Oscar E. McClinton Jr. Waterfront Park for food, festivities, and fun. Atlantic City Fire Captain Ledford Mack, who's also an organizer, called Uptown like a village. Everybody looks after everybody. Finally, Patterson, where a fire captain pulled off a daring daylight rescue at Great Falls. A stray pit bull mix managed to get trapped on a precipice, prompting Fire Captain Scott Parkin to rappel down a rocky cliff to rescue it. With the help of Rescue 2, Captain Parkin reached the animal, lured it with food, and used a net to lift it to safety. The dog the mayor says is now named Patterson was taken to Ramapo Bergen Animal Refuge in stable condition. Captain Parkin says his father did the same type of rescue in the same area back in 1975. And that's the Garden State Express for Monday, August 13th. Something up in your neighborhood? Tip us off. Governor Murphy's enacted a sweeping overhaul of the state school funding formula, his first in a decade. He's also pushed for expanding access to early childhood education for the pre-K set and providing free community college for those who qualify. Former Governor Tom Kean spoke of the impact of education in Governor's Perspectives with Kent Manahan.
Governor Kean, you spent a good part of your career in education. As a professor, you taught history, president of Drew University. Help us to understand the need and the value of early childhood education.
Of all the proposals that are made to improve education, and there are about 50 of them, everybody from choice to, all this stuff, improving teaching, nothing is more important and nothing has been tested more. We know it works. The areas in New Jersey that have gotten early childhood education are doing better than those schools that haven't. That's true nationwide. There's a lot of proposals how to improve education, how to reform education, how to do better in urban schools. Probably 5 of them, no, it's not 5 of them, probably 50 of them. And people are for choice of this or that, and all of those things may be okay. There's only one that everybody agrees on. Early childhood education. All the education research is shown now for the last 20 years. That can improve the outcome. And nobody disagrees, so shame on us for not doing it.
So what does it take? Funding, a priority in the budget?
Yeah, it takes a commitment. And this governor wants to do it. It's not quite as high on his priority scale as I'd like it to be, but he wants to do it, and I hope he will. Because there's nothing else he could do for education more important. Absolutely nothing. And there's nobody who disagrees. That's the silly thing. Some of these programs, you know, I'm for it, you're against it. Nobody disagrees. Everybody's for early childhood education. Every researcher has said it works. And, you know, that's the future. It used to be, when I was younger, it was you had to try and finish high school. If you finished high school, there was a good job awaiting you somewhere. Now, it's not high school anymore. It's college, or it's at least some form of higher education. It's at least community college. If you don't have that, every study shows your income is lower than your neighbors. And you cannot really escape lower middle class or even less without having that education. We know that.
As a legislator, you led the way for the Equal Opportunity Fund in New Jersey.
Yes, and I'm prouder of that probably than any other bill I ever sponsored. I mean, the Education Opportunity Fund gives kids the money to go to college if they don't have it otherwise, but also once they get to college, in case they haven't been to a good school, gives them 2 years of mentoring so that any problems they have, whether emotional problems at home or educational problems, they have somebody to help them through those things. And you will meet doctors, lawyers, teachers, government officials, wonderful people who are contributing to this country who will tell you straight out, I couldn't have been doing this except for the Education Opportunity Fund. And I'm so proud of that, and so proud of those kids and the accomplishments they've made in this state and in this country. So that's important. But this administration and this legislature has got to fund it properly. They haven't done that, so they've got to fund it properly because it works.
What should New Jersey's priority be now?
New Jersey's priority now and always should be children. The majority of the things in the budget should not be for old people like me. They should be for children. And how well this state does in the next 4, 8, or 10 years, I'm going to judge it by what they do for children, and I think that's the way to judge it.
A quality education is worth investing in for the future of our state.
Quality education is more worthwhile to invest in than any single other thing we could talk about in the state. That is the #1 priority, a decent quality education, not just for some, but for every child. And those that take a little more money, a little more resources to ensure that we should be doing.
Governor Kane, thank you very much for sharing your views on this important topic.
Thank you.
And now some noteworthy facts that help you know Jersey. Sweeney's task force puts New Jersey's unfunded pension liability at $115 billion, 4 times bigger than the state budget. NJ Transit operates 694 passenger trains on weekdays. Beth Simone Novak is New Jersey's first Chief Innovation Officer. And Paterson was established as America's first planned industrial city in 1791. If there's someone who you'd like to get to know Jersey, share. Use #KnowJersey. Tomorrow on NJTV News, major disruptions, school district mergers, and lane mergers heading toward the Lincoln Tunnel. To share any story you've seen tonight, go to njtvnews.org. I'm Mary Alice Williams. For all the men and women of NJTV News, thanks for being here. See you tomorrow.
the members of the New Jersey Education Association, making public schools great for every child, and PSE&G, we make things work for communities. Funding for Governor's Perspectives with Kent Manahan is made possible by the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, committed to helping Americans lead healthier lives and get the care they need. Additional funding provided by Connell Foley, LLP, Seton Hall University and Seton Hall Law, and by New Jersey Manufacturers Insurance Group.
NJM Insurance Company has been serving New Jersey policyholders for more than 100 years. But just who are NJM's policyholders? They're the social service and nonprofit pioneers who lend a helping hand. Science and technology innovators. The men and women who provide our skilled labor. And our homegrown champions, the people who make our state a great place to call home. NJM, we've got New Jersey covered.
I'm fighting cancer.
I'm fighting cancer.
I am fighting cancer.
I fight every day.
Every night.
Every hour.
Every minute. And every second.
RWJ Barnabas Health, together with the Rutgers Cancer Institute of New Jersey, brings the latest research, treatments, and clinical trials close to home.
We're fighting cancer.
And I'm not fighting alone.
RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's beat cancer together.